What is the best way to keep records? Brought to you by Google's Bookkeepers. If you enjoy the content, please do subscribe, like and share the channel. So the best way to keep receipts, and for most people this is what they've got. If that, sometimes it's just a carrier bag, not even a box, let alone a label, but they've just got receipts absolutely everywhere. So this video is going to be about the best way to keep records. It's about how should you organize yourself. Okay, so here are some record keeping tips. First and foremost, I would wholeheartedly encourage you to look into and to invest into an accounts software. This could be QuickBooks, and QuickBooks has various levels. So there's the cheaper end for the self-employed and the more expensive end for the Premier type extra version with more bells and whistles. There's Xero, which again has sort of 3 levels: a starter package, so a standard and a more advanced level. You've got Pandal, which starts from free, plus they have paid for versions with more functionality. And you've also got Wave as well. So it's worth looking at what is going to work for you in your area, in your region, and what your needs are and what the software can do for you. But it is worth investing in something, because this will help you to keep your records in a good way, clear, concise, and will help your life tremendously. Next tip I would say is to get a business bank account, and there's various accounts out there. So there's things like Starling Bank, which is an online bank, Tide. We are partners of Tide, just as we are partners with QuickBooks. We're part of their Pro Advisor program, and with Xero we are resellers of their software, and we're part of the Pro network, and also with Pandal, just to put that out there as a disclaimer. But we're also FreeAgent partners, and FreeAgent you can get as a software standalone, but if you are a NatWest customer, or if you bank with Metal, then you actually get FreeAgent, the software, for free as part of your banking terms and conditions. It's free. So that's worth looking into if you need a bank account as well as need a software. So that might make sense for you. It might be a bit difficult to open a new business bank account with NatWest, with it being on the high street, but Metal is purely online, so is Starling, so is Tide. There are various other ones out there as well: Revolut, Counting Up, Coconut, various ones out there, Monzo, to name a few. So shop around for your business bank, but if you do go with NatWest or Metal, you get FreeAgent for free. And the relationship between these two is that Metal is part of the NatWest group. So NatWest owns Metal. So it's part of their umbrella, and it was set up to basically rival these challenger banks who are doing really well, because they are very efficient. You can open a bank account normally within 48 hours, a lot quicker and easier than your high street bank, which might take weeks. And then as soon as you've got your business account, the idea is you link your software to your bank account, whatever that might be, and as you put all your business expenses through your business account and record the transactions. And this raises invoices. You can use your software to raise invoices and also to capture receipts. So it makes the record keeping a lot easier. There are people out there that will raise an invoice, for example, using a Word document. And they might print 2 out, one for the customer, one for themselves. And then they've got to file this piece of paper away somewhere. Whereas if you had an account software, you don't have to print it out twice. You don't have to print it out at all. You can just email it to the other person, and they don't have to print it out. They can just save it in their system and pay it, and that will be enough. So you see, immediately you've got a record in your software and you've reduced your paperwork because you've not had to print anything off. Same with receipts. A lot of people these days, they buy things online. You can take the electronic receipt and push that into your software and save it into your software, and you don't have to print it off. So that helps with your record keeping, because you're attaching the transactions into the software and not bothering to print it all out. So saves you having to look at a pile of paperwork. Now, this is just to show you, for example, QuickBooks Online, what the sort of interface looks like, just to give you an idea. So you'll have in the banking tab the dates of the transaction got pulled through, what the description was, and what the amount was. And the beauty of when you use an online software is that the description, for example, was interest, and you can set up what's called a rule, so that when the bank, when there's a word or an amount on a bank account coming through into the software can recognize it and say, oh, interest, I know, we'll add that as an expense to bank service charges because it's going out and it's bank interest paid. So your software can help you categorize the transactions as they come in. So this is just a screenshot of what QuickBooks Online looks like. And I always think it's useful just to see, because a lot of people ask, oh, which one's best? But I mean, go for the one which you feel happy with. But you see, you've got your different options down there: banking, expenses, sales. If you want the payroll option, it's an add-on. If you want it, you don't have to have it, but it's an additional add-on. Reports, taxes, mileage, and accounting, so it can keep it all in there. So that's QuickBooks Online. If you went for FreeAgent, then when you log in, it gives you an overview of what's incoming, what's outgoing, and what your bank balance is. This is just an overview. What you then do is you drill down, you click down and choose the banking option. See, it says business current account. You click down into it, and then you have to make sure that you update your connection. But what would happen is, if it recognizes a transaction, it counts it in. And then if it doesn't, for example, you get a question mark, and it tells you at a glance how many transactions are unexplained, like the system's not clever enough to know what it is, and you just have to go in and say, okay, company's house, okay, it was a payment, does it include VAT, yes or no? You choose the drop down, you put it to the category, subscriptions, that's the detail, and here you can click to upload a file, and if you've got a receipt of some sort from company's house, you attach it to the transaction and then click explain transaction, and then that's how that's done. So FreeAgent, nice, simple, clean, easy, and that account software is designed like that to make it easier for you. Now, in terms of organising your records, the tip is to have an in tray, have a folder, have a set of dividers, and have one envelope, one plastic wallet, plastic envelope. Now, you can get this stationery from, your local high street stationers, or even from the supermarket, anywhere you like. You can get these items. You might even already have them, but this is the best way, I would say, to organize yourself. So you have these items, and it's always useful if you have an electronic folder as well, if you wish, maybe a USB, or you can use Google Drive. I would recommend Google Drive, as it is free. You get so many megabytes or gigabytes of storage space for free. And remember, you've got to keep all your receipts for up to 6 years, not up to 6 years, but for 6 years. So you could have a Google Drive, have a folder in there with each year on it, and within each year you put the month, and electronic files can go and be saved in there. Some people use Dropbox, but if we're trying to be cost effective here, Google Drive is another way. And so any receipts, you can save them onto your file. If you're still using quite a manual system and you haven't got any software, and you're sending out sort of invoices using Word or something like that, I've known places to do that, and you just save the invoice by its number and the name of the customer, and you put it in you save it on your USB stick. Supplier bills, if they're emailed into you, you can also save them on your USB. You'd create another folder, and you could have one called expenses, one called invoices, and just save one for each year. But supplier bills that are emailed to you, if you have got software, you can forward that straight into your software, or you could just save it on your Google Drive. So this is how you can organise yourself. So if you're trying to get rid of the paperwork, ask people to email things to you. Don't bother printing it off, but just save it in an electronic folder. And those things that are paper, you file in your hard folder. If you are still getting bank or credit card statements, as soon as they arrive, they can still be in their envelope. You put them in your in tray, and then you go through your in tray once a week. And when you do go through it, you open it up, you enter any transactions onto your software or onto your spreadsheet, depending on how you're doing it. And then you file your bank statements in your folder. Do it in numerical order with the most recent one on top. And these dividers can be used, one for invoices, one for expenses. One tab can be for bank statements, another tab for credit card statements, and then another tab for like passwords or letters, communication with HMRC, something like that. Just a way for you to organise yourself and organise your records. Anything, to do with passwords and stuff, or tax return copies or anything like that, can just be in the final tab. You can use this plastic wallet for your cash receipts. If you still spend a lot of cash, you just keep them all in this wallet, and then once a month you can just staple the whole month together. Maybe use a post-it note, staple it to a post-it note, write on the post-it note the month and the total of what those receipts came to, and then you can just file that in your folder. Like I say, most recent one on top. So you'd have 12 pages, one for each month, of stapled receipts, and that's your cash receipts for each month. It's just a way just to keep things neat and tidy. Another way is if you've got credit card receipts, keep it in the wallet. Once a month, when the credit card statement, if you're still getting that by paper, comes through, you just staple the receipt to the credit card statement and file it away. So it's just a way to sort things out. If your credit card statement is really long, you can number each line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, find the receipt, number the receipt to the corresponding item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever the receipt is, and file the receipt into your folder. And I would suggest doing it weekly, that you go through your in tray and code in your entries, and then every 4 or 5 weeks, when your credit card statement comes, you sort out the credit card receipts to the credit card statement. But if you just do it once a week and you log in and file and code and record the entries, it just keeps you organised, keeps you on top of things. And at the end of the financial year, you email your USB, or you just invite your accountant to your G Drive, give them access, or just send them an email and just say, yep, log into the software, and they log in and they've got the records there, and it's all been done. So that's just one of the ways, I would say, to easiest way really to just manage your receipts and just keep everything neat and tidy. Any other questions, please do email in admin@booglesltd.com, and hopefully the content has been useful and you're feeling energized and ready to organize yourself. If you've enjoyed the content, please do subscribe, like and share the channel.